Hey everyone, it's Justine and welcome to my continuation of my 1 million views celebration. Today I am featuring some cards made with products from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm also going to have a giveaway at the end of the video, so make sure you watch all the way through. Alright, so to get started on these bulk cards, I really am enjoying making bulk cards lately because I get 2, 3, 4 times the amount of cards with only putting a few minutes of extra work. So I'm grabbing a couple of sheets of white cardstock. They measure 4 by 5 1/4, and I am distress inking them. This doesn't have to be super perfect or anything even remotely close to it. I am using for this panel here cracked pistachio. I am also using pine needles and evergreen bough. And again, if you get some harsh lines, this technique is cool because it doesn't really matter. So you can go as quickly as you need it to be and blend them as much as you like. I'm going to be creating 4 different panels of different colors. I'm going to make a green for the leaves, and I'm going to make pink and a yellow and a purple. So I'm going in now with picked raspberry and then abandoned coral just to give it a little bit of an orangey tinge, make it a little bit more interesting as far as the transition of colors. And then I'm going in with some worn lipstick, and I will set this panel off to the side. My next panel is going to be the purple one. I'm going in with wilted violet, shaded lilac to make a lighter tone, and then in the middle I decided to do seedless preserves, and I'm pretty sure that my seedless preserves is either out of ink or pretty close to it because it didn't blend nicely at all. So I'm going to have to grab a re-inker for that one. But overall, that's fine. The last one, I'm going to be using a couple of different shades here. I'm going to be using spiced marmalade, squeezed lemonade, and mustard seed. So you can also transition the colors and actually change them by going from yellow to orange if you feel like it. Now I'm just going to lay out all of my panels, and I'm just going to throw some water on top of them and let them resist that color. They look really, really great. When I finish drying them, it's really important that they're dry. I added my embossing buddy to make sure that none of the distress ink would grab onto embossing powder. And then I'm going to make a layout of all of the stamps that come in the More Spring Flowers stamp from Simon Says Stamp. And it's such a pretty stamp set and it's so versatile. But I only want it to cover half of the card so that it makes it really easy and efficient when stamping. So I'm going to stamp it here on the bottom of my card, and then I'm going to turn it over and stamp it again so I don't have to worry about replacing all of my stamped images. It's a really great way to save some time. And then I'm just going to add some white embossing powder and set it onto the side, and I'm going to heat emboss them all at the same time to save time. So I'm just going to clean up all of my leaves here, and then I'm going to get started onto the flowers. And there's only 3 flowers, and I realize that the colors are not what the colors are supposed to be, but I don't really care. I know absolutely nothing about flowers, and I think it's going to look pretty anyway. So again, just covering half of my card panel so that I could turn it around and stamp it again. Get really efficient use out of the paper. I'm going to put my white embossing powder on the side and then set it off. So I'm going to do this for each one of those panels. So the flowers, I'm actually doing the same one for each of them. So with the leaves, I had to do that for just the one panel. And you could also do 2 panels of green if you'd like. And for these 3, I was able to just use the same stamps. So that worked out really perfectly and saved a lot of time. Again, just putting the white embossing powder on top, and then I'm going to heat emboss all 4 of them in warp speed because I don't think anybody wants to watch me heat emboss. So I'm just using a heat gun. I just finished ordering an actual one for embossing. This is more for drying your cardstock, this type of heat gun, and I'm super excited for my embossing one to come in so that it just works a little bit faster. I wasn't thinking of investing in one because I wasn't sure if I was moving again or what the case was, but I think I am bit the bullet and I invested in a new one. All right, so next up, I'm just going to prep all of my cards. So I'm grabbing the thank you from the mini thanks set from Simon Says Stamp, and I am going to ink up 4 panels and stamp them. This technique actually gave me 4 cards, so that worked out really nicely. And again, if I were to just make 1 card, I would have had to do all that inking anyway. So the fact that I was able to get 4 cards of it is a huge time saver, and also I have some really pretty cards at the end of it. So I'm just going to fiddle around here and glue down these in a little collage pattern here, just this little cluster of flowers. I'm using a glue pen from Nuvo because it's really great for those, especially those skinny areas on the leaves because it's so thin. And then I'm using 3D foam tape as well from 3M, and I'm using that to just add a little bit of texture and layers onto my card panels. So I'm going to do that for all 4, and I'm just going to keep you in this warp speed because really nobody wants to watch me sit there and glue for half an hour. Just kidding. I like to give the real time of my cards as well, because obviously my video is 7.5 minutes. The cards took me about 45 minutes in total. That gave me 4 cards, which averages out just to over 10 minutes a card, which is pretty decent. If I would have created just one of these cards, it probably would have taken me about 25 minutes to a half an hour by the time I was finished the blending. So really, for those extra few minutes, I was able to get 3 more cards out of it. And this is kind of my goal in 2017, is to do a lot more videos like this, where you get multiple cards out of the same thing. If you have the products out, why not use them and get the most out of them, in my opinion. And this is a really great set that you could give away, or you could give to friends or send out in the mail. It's absolutely amazing. So next up, I just got to fold over my card bases. They measure 11 by 4 1/4, and I fold them in half so that they're a top folding card. And then I just need to glue down all of these panels on top of my cards, and it's going to create a white on white look with a nice little frame around it. Now, as you know, I am quite obsessed with Nouveau products at the moment. Now, nobody's asked me to do this video featuring Nouveau products or anything. It's just always my opinion as far as that goes. And I love embellishing with Nouveau products. So I was just given the glue to try out, so that was exciting. It was really good, and I loved it. And then I'm going to be using my jewel drops, which I purchased myself, and I'm using pale periwinkle and rose water. And these are really great. The Nouveau drops, the normal ones, are opaque, and these ones are sort of translucent. So it's really good because they have that sort of tinge of color, but they're not overwhelming and taking up every aspect of your card. So I love these for cards like flower cards and spring cards and things where you just want some subtle accents. And they come in about, I believe, 8 colors they come in. And I have all of them, and they're super great. So just a heads up, if you aren't a member of the Stamp Junkies page on Facebook, I'll link to it below in the video description, you might want to go over there, because during the month of April, I'm actually giving away a set of these jewel drops from Nouveau. But that's not all I'm giving away today. If you head over to my blog, which is in the video description below, I am doing a giveaway for $25 to Simon Says Stamp, a gift certificate that they so generously donated for my April event. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you can go ahead and click on my picture there, or you could head over to my blog, or I have 2 other videos that you might enjoy that I've linked to below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to enter yourself into the giveaway. Thanks so much.